welcome to 10 Things We Hate About Resident Evil. We both come up with 10 things that we basically don't like or we hate about Resident Evil, the series as a whole, not specific to a game. We're talking 1 through 7, plus all the side stories, the ones that we've played. Because although I think we both agree we played the majority, there's like 1 or 2 like things like Resident Evil Dead Aim and Survivor 2 that just never played, basically.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah. But then, who cares, you know? Umbrella Corps, the latest one that got slammed on PC and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking before about, in the previous video, about how much we love the games and how it's been a real important and a big impact on our gaming life as a whole. So it's going to be interesting to see what we hate about it. I mean, it could be easy, but we'll see.
Yeah, okay then. Well, I'll start off with a very, very simple one. I hate that Resident Evil 3 has kind of been forgotten about, because it was so similar to number 2, but it's actually a damn good game with great bosses and an introduction of the Nemesis, which you could argue kind of played in the Resident Evil 7. They're following you from room to room and stuff like that. The Nemesis was great. Playing as Jill. Even
in 6, there's a monster creature.
There is, yeah.
Similar to Nemesis. Yeah, I mean, 3 is definitely very underrated. I mean, time will tell if they're going to do anything with that, with the remake of 2 coming out. But yeah, I think it deserves a bit more love.
Basically, yeah.
No, that's a good point. My first one is I hate the character Jake Mueller. From Resident Evil 6.
No, not Wesker's son.
Or as he's better known, Wesker's emo son.
But he's eating an apple.
I just think he's generally quite annoying, and he has the weakest campaign in that game.
Yeah.
And his speciality is melee. That just annoys me.
Yep, no, I actually I'd agree with you in that game particularly. In fact, overall, I have no love for Jake, and I hated that one of the more iconic Resident Evil characters.
I just thought it was really lame to have Wesker have this quite very boring son. I know he didn't know Wesker. Does he know Wesker's his father? I think.
When Chris and him on the lift at the end of the game, which I did actually like that scene where Chris reveals that who
obviously
he is.
The whole history between Chris and Wesker and him being his son is interesting, but I just think him as a character, he's quite a weak character.
Oh yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah.
Alright, well my next one's really, again, straightforward. The shitty spin-offs. We're talking Resident Evil Survivor, Operation Raccoon City, Umbrella Corps, Dead Aim, a lot of these sort of spin-off stories and stuff like that I've tried to introduce new ideas but did it half-heartedly. Let's go with Resident Evil Survivor as a great example, which was designed to be a first-person shooting style game, not using a light gun, but and so on. And it was like they went, okay, let's do that, but let's just not put any effort in at all. And I remember liking it as a kid, but truth be told, it's not. It's terrible. It
holds up terribly.
Yeah,
you can complete it in maybe less than an hour or something, right? And you got unlimited ammo and all that.
Unlimited,
sort of stuff.
yeah.
I mean, it completely kills the survival horror aspects of the games. But I think they obviously just wanted to capitalize on the popularity of the name at the time.
I wonder how it sold.
Yeah, I wonder, but I think maybe they made it for arcades. Maybe, I don't know.
No, because it's not an actual light gun game.
Well, they never released it in as an arcade light gun game. That's weird.
Yeah, it's a PlayStation 1, isn't it?
Yeah. Made for that.
Well, I thought it was you would think as well, but definitely not. Yeah, I know that for sure.
Yeah, the spin-offs, not great, and Capcom, like you say, never really seemed to get really fully behind them either.
Well, also another one I pointed out was Operation Raccoon City, and I used that game as the standard bearer for where Capcom were at their greediest. Remember, that was the game where they released one half of it. You bought one half of it, but if you wanted the 3 other parts of the campaign, which was I think the good guys, you had to pay for that as DLC. That was them at their worst.
That was not a good time.
Oh yeah.
My next one is I hate that the games spawned a movie franchise that started out quite well, but ultimately got worse and worse. And I just love to see the whole thing rebooted and done properly and more faithful to the games.
The Mila Jovovich films are now too iconic. No one will ever touch Resident Evil again. I don't think we'll ever see another movie unless they do another Mila Jovovich one. They're too iconic. She's too iconic. Like, you think Resident Evil, think Mila Jovovich. As soon as someone says, look, we're going to do Resident Evil again, but we're going to take about the horror, the jokes, studios, everyone, which film production company and studio is going to go, yeah, we'll back that.
Well, because they made a lot of money, didn't they?
It would need to be independently financed.
But do you think that the movies made a lot of money based on, her star power?
Yeah.
Or was it because of the Resident Evil name?
No, I think at first the Resident Evil game name dropped people in, but eventually it was her star power.
By the end, of course, she went, because she was so synonymous with the movie franchise. Of course, I thought she had an impact on that, but I still think the Resident Evil name by itself, if they were going to reboot it, and hopefully they will, I don't know, maybe they will continue it, because obviously in the final chapter,
yeah, it's not really the final chapter.
There is kind of like some hints of a potential sequel, but you know, I would like to just see it rebooted.
Of course, I would love to see them. Yeah, I'd love to see them be brave and go R-rated, and
because they shoehorned a lot of stuff in from the games, and it was never done well. The characters and. You know, yeah.
Oh God, no.
We can sit here for ages talking about the problems with the movies. But...
There we go. There's a future top 10. There's a future 10.
Yeah.
Okay, I hate that I didn't play Code Veronica for years after its initial release, and found it when I finally got around playing it to be one of the best games in the franchise. And that because it came out during my period where I wasn't gaming. I was drinking and meeting girls and stuff like that. And then eventually I got back around to it. I actually played it when it was on the Xbox 360. Released on there, and I thought, oh well, you know what, it's a Resident Evil game I haven't played. People tend to say it's good. Fucking good. I would say it's probably in my top 3 Resident Evil games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a massive fan of it, and I think it's massively underappreciated, but it released exclusively, I believe, on the Dreamcast. When it first released, which was, I think a lot of people missed out on it for that reason.
Well, yeah, who the hell was playing the Dreamcast, really?
Yeah, I mean, it has actually one of mine actually is I hate how underappreciated Code Veronica is.
Oh, okay, so basically the same thing.
Quite similar, and I think it's rarely mentioned when talking about the best games in the series. People really don't talk much about it.
Yeah,
but it had all the classic elements of the the classic Resident Evil games. Had the fixed camera, that had the tank controls, but it was kind of like improved on those aspects a little bit.
Yeah,
it's a really really good game in the series that deserves more love.
Cool. Go on, you can go now.
Well, one more point on that actually that I was
just
reading. Interestingly, I read another bit of trivia here. Apparently, it outsold Resident Evil 4 upon its release, like Code Veronica. It actually outsold Resident Evil 4. So that's interesting.
That is very interesting. Yeah.
Okay. I hate that it took Capcom so long to return Resident Evil to its survival horror roots, because we were talking before about how they're versatile and how they kind of adapted to what was popular at the time, but we all were just clamoring for it to return to what we wanted the games to be, because there's plenty of other game series out there that do action and all that sort of stuff, but Resident Evil is synonymous with survival horror and horror, and they always try to shoehorn that in, even though they were trying to make it something completely different altogether. Like, in 5 it's still got horror elements, but it's just it's an action game. And 6 it's just a huge mess
of 3 different styles.
And it's like an abomination of 3 things. They're trying to do so many different ideas, and they're just sticking to the one thing.
Yes, 3 different ideas and doing none of them well.
Yeah.
This ties into that. My next one was going to be that Capcom saw the success of Resident Evil 4 and thought that, but less horror. Which is basically what happened. They looked at 4 and went, well, yeah, we'll do that again because people love that, but let's just remove any of those horror elements. And 4, there were times when it was horror and there were times when it was action and stuff like that, but they basically went, nah, none of that horror stuff. And let's just roll with action, which is basically what Resident Evil 5 was. There was very few, when you contrast 4, when you're trying to defend a house and the rain and they're all trying to get through the windows, that's horror. Name your point of Resident Evil 5 where any of that shit happened. Now, I know they did a similar thing, but it was never horror, it was action. That was the difference.
Yeah. I think 4 does get a little bit of a free pass, because it is very similar in a lot of ways to 5 and 6.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it was just different, the story and the setting and stuff. It had more of a dark backdrop, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe because 5 was set in a bright location, maybe that didn't help. But
true, it's harder to be scared of things when it's daytime. Yeah.
Okay, I have, as unintentionally hilarious it can be, which is enjoyable, I do hate how over the top and ridiculous it can be, especially 5 and 6, which are these ridiculous over the top Michael Bay Hollywood blockbuster movies, but they have the plot and from a B movie, but they have the budget of this massive blockbuster or something, and they do all these crazy ridiculous things.
As you're talking, I'm thinking of Resident Evil 6 and a helicopter crash.
Yeah, well, 6 is just a mess. It has every scenario involving a vehicle that you can imagine.
Yeah.
It has a scenario involving a train, a boat, and
oh my god, they do.
And, I'm pretty sure that there's a car. There's even a car. I remember when me and my girlfriend were playing through, and we were just laughing about how they literally had all these vehicular like things happen, and they had them all. They ticked every box, and it's just so ridiculous. And the characters, they survive so much punishment.
Yeah.
They don't even get a scratch, and it's just so bad.
Oh god, I forgot about the train bit as well. Yeah, of course, that's during the finale of Leon's campaign.
But it's like these terrible. They just evolved into this terrible B movie trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, my next one is just one word. It's hunters. Not for the reason though you're thinking.
You hate hunters.
I hate hunters because of. I basically think I'm 99% sure that the thing that's killed me the most across Resident Evil is a hunter.
Yeah,
like thinking about it across the entire series, what do you reckon you've died the most to?
Yeah,
it's probably a hunter.
Probably that jumping slash they had to do.
Yeah, because that could kill you in one in the original game if you were unlucky.
There's nothing worse in one of the older games when you got the fixed camera and you'll come through the door and the camera's just fixated on the doorway and you decide to like walk forward, but maybe you can hear them.
The click.
But you just don't know where they are. So you walk forward and the next minute you hear the jump and the slash and that's it. And the screen turns to red and you're dead.
That's it.
It caused me a little pain throughout the years for sure. I hate how, talking about Resident Evil 4, back to that, I hate how annoying and helpless a certain character is in that game, and she likes to scream, Leon!
Help me!
She likes to get carried away. She's the damsel in distress, and it's Ashley, the president's daughter. I hate how annoying and useless she is.
How? How glad were you when you played it through with her in the suit of armour?
But that's the funny thing, is you can like Capcom knew how much of a hindrance she was to you, that they put that in there for the hardest difficulty because they knew it'd be impossible. Like it's even funny to try and like, you know, there's so many without that in there, like the suit of armour, like, how many times would you have failed? Like,
100%.
It's still funny to try. Like that's actually a really helpful point in the game though. Like when they're trying to pick her up
and they fall.
They're already concentrating on just doing that.
Yeah,
it's really helpful. But yeah, it's just funny that they put that in, that they knew how much of a annoyance she was.
It's interesting to talk about annoying characters then, because my next one's an annoying character.
Yes.
And it's Sheva, but being controlled by the AI. I've got nothing against Sheva. I think she's actually a pretty interesting character, and there's a pity she was kind of just forgettable in that sense. But I don't really care about playing Resident Evil co-op. However, Resident Evil 5's AI control of Sheva made me want to play that game co-op desperately, because I reckon I put more bullets into her sometimes than I did enemies. The thing is, AI was competent when it came to shooting enemies sometimes. Other times she'd just stand there. But what she would do constantly is get in the way. You always find that. She'd step in your way and things like that. Yeah. AI was terrible with her.
I like that because of her we got co-op in 5, because I think it actually improves 5 playing in co-op.
Yep.
I think it does because her AI is so bad that having someone that's actually play as her, it makes it a lot easier, especially if you're playing on a higher difficulty.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is very annoying as an AI character. Can't deny that. So my next one is I hate the really dumb police officer that comes to the house in Resident Evil 7 to
the one that gets killed in the garage, yeah?
Yeah, he's just like a massive like horror cliche.
Yeah.
Like him coming in with his flashlight and like not knowing what's going on, even though you can see Ethan's there, and I think Ethan is really injured at the time.
I think he's already had his hand cut
off, and the referee's like, you should call for backup right there and then, but instead he doesn't. He stalls, and he ends up ultimately getting killed with a shovel. So
it's true. It's a great scene, like his death scene and stuff like that. And it was kind of used a bit in the trailer as well. So like I can knock it up. But you are right. He is a walking cliche in a horror movie.
Yeah, the dumb police officer.
Yeah,
that doesn't do what they're trained to do. Like any police officer in that scenario would back up as the first thing you'd call for.
That's a very good point.
I think he also like, even when Ethan is in the house and he sees him outside, like Ethan is like, help me basically, but he like wants to meet him in the garage.
Yeah, that's right.
Instead of calling for backup, when there's this guy who's like behind this boarded window in this weird house, like screaming for help, and he's like, well, meet me in the garage.
Yeah,
we'll discuss it. We'll talk about it.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'm going to Resident Evil 5 for my next one. I hate the multiplayer in Resident Evil 5. And I'm not. Normally we say hate with a bit of tongue in cheek. No, there's no tongue in cheek. Fucking multiplayer in 5 is a disgrace.
Yeah, I mean, if you could get a match, that's the worst thing about any online multiplayer, especially in a game like Resident Evil, where most people don't buy their games to play them for multiplayer, so no one's playing the multiplayer anyway.
Yeah.
And that's not much fun, are they?
No.
The modes they have in it. But yeah, I agree. So my next one is, as much as this is tongue in cheek a little bit because I enjoy this aspect of Resident Evil, but you have to hate a little bit of how logically flawed they are. Like, there's a lot of logic flaws. Obviously, it's like a game.
Yeah.
To criticize for that is kind of stupid, but I do hate how logically flawed they are. Like, tongue in cheek, things like how the characters get bit by zombies left, right, and centre. They don't turn into zombies.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's like an issue in a lot of things you could criticize by. Especially, we're talking about Resident Evil here anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, you get bit by a zombie, your health goes down to like caution or danger, but you don't get infected in any way. That's not a problem in the game, even though there are characters in the games that do get bitten by zombies and turn into zombies.
Yeah, you're right. No, that's a great little logic, little things. I mean, you talk about logic things, just sometimes the whole design. Now, I understand they've gone more in depth with that, trying to explain what the founding people behind Umbrella were like and stuff like that. But how do you explain the police station in Resident Evil 2? Why was Chief Irons, so weird about putting keys inside the jugs and the vase?
Like the puzzles, are so convoluted. Like, I mean, there's other things like, herbs. Like, what are herbs, and how do they have the ability to heal life-threatening injuries?
This blue one saved me from spider poison.
And how does like Leon or Claire or whoever, how do they know how to use these herbs? And they you see them all ground up onto these pieces of like paper.
Yeah.
Where's the paper come from? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's a good one. I like it. One actually ties a little bit into that logic thing, but specific. I hate that Capcom really didn't try to connect the dots from Resident Evil 0 to the first game. I mean, why would Rebecca not mention to Chris what she had gone through? Now, you could argue she was trying to protect Billy. She didn't want to mention any kind of incidents. But obviously, when you compare her character in Resident Evil 1 to even in the HD remake, they didn't even try and do it. Now, I can understand you cannot connect the dots to the original game. But why, when you knew you were doing 0 after 1 HD, why would you not? Even as an Easter egg for fans, have Rebecca have a throwaway line in a HD remake about something that happened to her before she met up in the mansion. It would have left us going, huh. And then we could have got Resident Evil 0.
Yeah, I mean, talking about logical flaws, I think that's one right there. Like, surely she would have said something.
Yeah, just like, yeah.
It's a shame they should have done something with that, but...
Yeah.
Okay, as much as I'm excited and I cannot wait for Resident Evil 2, the remake, I hate that Capcom announced it in 2015.
Oh, God.
And we're going to get it in 2019. That's like 4 years.
Yeah.
I hate that.
We're so close. We're literally...
E3 after E3, nothing silence, and then we're finally getting it. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
But still, 4 years.
Yeah, that's brilliant. My next one is about Resident Evil 2, but I wonder if you'll
humans don't live forever, Capcom. They don't. People have probably died waiting for this game to come out. I'm not going to get into it. I'll get on to Final Fantasy 7 or something and talk about how long remakes take.
Oh yeah, we'll still talk about that one. Right, so I hate that Leon in Resident Evil 2 is a really sappy git and gets played by Ada with ease. But also, he white knights her.
What was that all about? Running off like that was reckless and stupid. Those zombies are everywhere. Not to mention that thing that got Ben.
I was there, Leon. I know.
Look, Ada. As an officer, it's my job to look out for you. But we're not going to get through this alive if we don't work together. Okay?
All right.
But basically, she clearly can hold her own. And he's constantly like, it's my job to protect you. It's like, your first day on the job, kid. It's your first day as a cop. And you're talking about protecting her. Yet there's a point where he says something like that to her. And she says a line. And the voice actress clearly was deliberate as well. She's like, all right. As if to sort of be like, yeah, whatever, mate.
Yeah, I think their dynamic between them when they first meet is like really funny.
Yeah.
Because she is clearly this really strong, confident woman who knows why she's there, she knows what she's doing. And Leon's whole character is that he's an inexperienced cop, he's completely out of his depth. But in that moment with her, for some reason, he white knights her. He acts like he's the one in control. Like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But even though he does that, she still kind of like treats him like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. I hate there's a jump scare in Resident Evil 2. I hate this jump scare because it gets me every time. I don't remember it, but it's this very specific location. I think it's in like a generator room, and it's when you're going through one of the doors, and it's the door opening animation like normal, except there's one instance.
Oh, a
it
zombie
opens
comes
and zombies
out.
come out.
Yeah.
It gets me every time. I forget it's going to happen every time, and it's so well done.
It's near the back of the police station where the helicopter's crashed into the water tower, and
that's
you go
exactly
down the
right,
stairs
yeah.
into the back. It's like a generator.
Yeah, I played the game again recently, and
Oh.
it still got me. And it really annoys me. Yeah, but it's a really great jump scare. But I hate how it gets me every time.
I thought you were going to talk about the hands that come out of the windows. And...
Yeah, I mean, no, I always remember that one. But,
Yeah.
But that door opening one, because you go through a door so much, and you get so lazy with the door animation open, you're not even looking up, paying attention. So it's so good. It's like they want you to make sure, oh, you weren't paying attention? Well, you better start paying attention now, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the only place that ever happens.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
awesome.
It happens at one time, but like you never know, it could happen again. It's really well.
Yeah,
well
it starts
done.
making you think again.
Yeah.
Well, my last one is simply, I hate that. What virus are we on? We've had T, we've had G. What are we on now? Which one is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Ouroboros?
Yeah, Ouroboros.
Ouroboros.
Yeah.
Fuck, what is Resident Evil 7's virus? I know it's got a name, but I can't remember now. It's mold. The mold.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think like they, like I said before in the previous video, but they literally must be going alphabetical order now. Yeah, I'm not sure. it's kind of funny.
Convoluted as fuck, basically.
Yeah, but we love it for its flaws as well as the good things about it.
Are you out?
I think that was my last. I think I might have shared one with you. That's why I have.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go then. There's our 10 things we hate about Resident Evil. See, a little bit more tongue-in-cheek. And there are some legitimate complaints because it's a fantastic series, but it's also had many, many missteps along the way. Can't wait to see what comes next, basically, and particularly the Resident Evil 2 remake. As always, if you like what you've seen, drop us a comment and let us know what we should be covering in the 10 things we love or hate. All right, and thanks for watching.
Thanks.